my one strand.
Uh-oh. All righty, folks. How you doing? We're here. We're live.
Hey, how's it going?
On the screen here, Linda K, One Strand in the Rav, Jerome, and the Mad Scott. You all know Mr. Capaldi. We're here. We're live.
Cheers.
We're having a little bit of fun with it. It's kind of a free-form session here. But I will tell you guys, lots is going on. Everybody you see on the screen is at least involved with Mammothon. So, we're all in preparations for that. In fact, before I was doing this right here now with these guys, I was having a conversation and recording a segment with Steve Moore. Some of you may know who that is. So he's been on the channel before. One of the more popular videos on my channel, retired FBI agent. So we did a pre-recorded segment, and originally we did it for in case he couldn't make it the weekend of Mammothon, because he might be flying that weekend. He's a pilot now, and now that he's retired. So he may be flying that weekend. So we weren't sure, so we did this pre-recorded segment. So that's what I was just doing. But at the end of the segment, as him and I were talking, I said, well, maybe I could just play this segment with you and I at the beginning of Mammothon at the kickoff, so you guys can all have that to look forward to. And then I said, but if you can find the time that weekend and can come on with me for, say, my final segment, I go, maybe I can ask everybody to do a thing where we accept a bunch of questions and use Discord to have a vote. And then take, say, out of, say, 25 questions that kind of come up, or 20 questions, take the top 5. And if Steve is able to make it in to come on live during Mammothon, we can ask those 5 or 6 questions of him then. He was very agreeable to it if he could make it and come on live. So that's something that we can all be thinking about, questions that we might like to hear Steve Moore answer. So that's something you guys can all kind of maybe get a little excited about, is potentially getting a question into Steve. So that is what's going on, folks.
Love it. Love it. He's a great guy. He's so knowledgeable.
Well, he's obviously got a lot of background with the FBI and in investigations.
Right.
I think the most fascinating part about talking to Steve is listening to him talk about how high the bar is for him in federal court.
Yep.
Compared to how high the bar is, say, in this area of Wisconsin.
51% is all the police need. 51%. Leave the rest to the prosecutors.
I loved it when he said his boss would have his butt in a sling if he tried to pull any of that crap.
Right.
And the only thing that they got right was Brendan's name, and that was it on that part.
I don't know why they even have a bar. They don't use it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
As we were discussing earlier. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, they're all out.
In Wisconsin, I mean, he even said it himself in the first interview I did with him. He said in that area of Wisconsin, right there in that particular region, he basically said the kids are running the show. Yeah. He's like, it's like the kids are in charge, because the judges aren't holding the prosecutors to a higher standard, and the prosecutors are therefore not holding the law enforcement to a higher standard, and everything just continues to slip in that area. So,
well, I think
that's one thing that Stephen and Brandon teach that area, no matter what. Yeah. That's one thing that.
I think Rob Bellin was sorry, Jerome.
No, sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that last week Rob Bellin was kind of like saying, that it's not that it's that bad. It's just one or two bad apples that give the whole name a bad reputation. Sorry, Jerome, you carry on.
No, it was just a question for you all. Do you have any knowledge of the Mary Bell Caves story? The story of the Mary Bell Cave.
Mary Bell.
The Maribel. Are you talking about the German?
No, the Mary Bell Cave.
The Mary Bell Caves. They found some
in Wisconsin.
Maribel Caves,
yeah, where they found the cutoffs of the jeans and
yes.
The only thing I know about the Maribel Caves is that our good friend Carla in her Facebook page, that's where she's got that nice picture of her and her husband. That's the only thing I know about the Maribel Cave. But I understand at one time there was a hotel there that's now shut down.
it was an hotel, I think. Yeah, for sure. And there is a strange, really strange story about the place. And one time I've talked with Dave Begokta about the Maribel Caves, and he told me a lot of things about that. But we can prove that, but that's my question. Any one of you knows something about that, about the Maribel Cave story?
I think I saw that, and he was saying that back in the day, the police would just like block the entrance, and they'd have one of these wild parties there, you know, where anything would go on, you know, or come off, as the case may be.
Strand knows.
We have someone, and I don't want to go into it because somebody is working very hard. Obi-Wan is actually working on, it's probably going to end up being a series, I believe, with Big Jeff on issues surrounding that. And he's really dug in with his researchers. And Jerome, you're not going to want to miss it because I'm telling you, it's mind blowing.
Oh, okay.
It's coming up. It is coming. I just don't want to spill his beans and
steal his thunder.
Right.
I was not aware you were on the case. Sorry.
I
just spoiled you.
it's I'm telling you, if I didn't drink and I was finding out what he's finding out, I would be drinking.
Listen, you can tell us. We won't tell anybody, honestly.
Let's just say there's a lot of exculpatory information there.
Yeah,
there really is, and for them to dig into it like they have, they're really onto something, I think. Yeah,
there's a load of stuff going on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I'll talk to you later, Jerome. I see that look in his eyes.
Jerome,
keeping that on the down low.
It's going to be a long night for you, pal.
You can't. How can you say no to a Frenchman looking at you like this?
Exactly.
You can't.
I like it.
So Andrew says he tried to watch Tiger King, got through one episode, might finish it. He got through one episode.
Andrew, I would definitely watch the How to Fix a Drug Scandal. That is the one to watch. That's I mean that's you know, everybody's saying Carol Baskin is dodgy, but you're trying to find the evidence against her, but you know she's probably quite smart, and as the dude was saying, CYA.
She is a black. I'm just putting it out there. She's a black widow, and she is an expert con artist.
Paul, go over to Johnny's channel. Go over to Ripper's channel, dude.
Oh yes.
One of my guests from Amathon is Ripper.
Yep. So. I'm excited because he's the first. When I started doing stuff, his is one of the first videos. He had done a video on the key being on the counter, and I got on there and played with it even a little more, and it was like, ooh, that's. And then I was hooked, and with all the stuff with all you wonderful people, all of you. I mean, Erekose, Paul, Jerome. I found all of you on here, and McGilla. I mean, took me under his wing a little bit, as well as Mystic Jinxie, and I learned so much from you guys. And
then she met me.
I met Linda here in Erekose's channel, and she invited me over to Foul Play, and that's all she wrote. Now my husband's a Foul Play widow.
And she's a trash talker.
Oh, that came naturally though. So.
And if you thought Linda's scary, wait till you meet Wanda.
Travis,
a little 4-foot diamond thing of dynamite. She's wonderful. She really is.
Yes.
By the way, she says hello to everybody and hopes that you're all staying safe, and she's thinking of you all. And pass that to your wife.
Yeah.
And, I agree. Yeah. I think I agree with Travis. This one has intrigued me, and I've been meaning to watch it. It's called The Pharmacist.
It happens way down in New Orleans, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's I mean that's near Andrew, isn't it? That's somewhere near Andrew. But this guy gets shot. This son gets shot, and then this guy goes out to try and investigate it. And boy, does he investigate! And he finds all these people going and getting prescriptions from these various places where they're basically queuing up, and that they're just taking the stuff. And it's so obvious that as soon as they get the stuff out of the chemist or the pharmacist, guess what? They go and sell it. It's so painfully obvious, and the industry is just keeping it going.
Hi, T1.
I know he's out there feeling unloved apparently, so had to put him on blast.
MLR.
Don't worry, dude. I only do it because I love you, T1.
Yeah.
We all love you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you're going to suffer, dude. He's going to get you back big time.
I can't wait till he gets on there and talks.
Yeah.
About 5 memes for every second I left his message up there.
Yeah. How does he think of that stuff?
Jose giving him that fishy lick.
Ripper Jack, speak of the devil.
Yeah, I said hi, Ripper.
He's in chat right now, so
Yeah.
It's like
He's going to be one of my guests.
We tend to say Beetlejuice in our little chats. If all of a sudden, whoever we're talking about will pop in.
My trusty Ouija is joining us.
What you want to do, you want to tell these Ouijas, get T-Wick.
Oh, really?
What
do you think of that?
Work?
What do you think of that?
Is that get to work?
No, do you ken where Wick is? It's right at the top of Scotland. So top of the A9. Get to Wick.
I thought for a second Paul was talking about his knickers and he had too much beer.
Number 1, name knickers. Number 2, you can't have too much beer. Travis was saying about the
pharmacist.
No, there was something else he put up about the German. I think there's quite a bit about the German in Sean Atwood's book, but to be honest, in any other book, there's not much about him. I don't think there's even any mention of him in John Farrak's Wrecking Crew. I might be wrong about that, but
there is mention of him in Griesbach's book.
Griesbach's books. The second one, Indefensible.
Yes.
Because you were telling me that you've read Indefensible. I've read the Innocent Killer one, but I'm not.
Well, I audio listened and I got to that point and I'm like, okay, I've had enough. That's all I wanted to hear about. So,
the German always seemed like a rabbit hole I didn't want to go down. Same with the club.
Seemed to have a lot of merit to it, though, man. That one intrigued me for a long time.
Another Luigi.
He had cherry Pepsi cans in his house or somewhere. There was a lot of really odd coincidences that made him very interesting. So I mean,
yeah. Blood on box.
Can I say something about the Griesbach book?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The French version is really not well done. Really not.
Well, neither is the American version.
Neither is the American version.
I agree, because in the French version, the translation is really not correct. And I tell that because if you want buy this book in French, no. It's bad. So I tell that.
Paul, what are you enjoying there?
Well, I was about to type it, but yes, seeing as you want to know, that is a Talisker. That's what I was saying. That's that 45.8% Talisker. It's absolutely beautiful. And this in my fancy mug is Old Jock from the Broughton Brewery. So it's a wee half pint and a nip. You can.
Yeah, I'm thirsty because I go take a beer.
I can't remember exactly what it was that ruled him out. It might have been that he had been deported. No, because he was actually around at the time. I don't remember exactly why they said he was ruled out. I always still kind of wonder about him, but I don't focus on him anymore.
Yeah, I heard some interesting things, but I've never even dug into it before until I started hearing some of these things, and then I'm like, wow.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Oh, you dig into everything. I mean, she's been down rabbit holes, but doesn't go so far down. She comes right back up. Okay, this one's done.
No. Grisbach is actually the person, when you read his book, he is actually the person who prosecuted him for the cases that were presented. And I it's one of the boys. They had tunnel vision and they didn't want to consider anybody else. So it's the same with Andre Martinez, who I'm actually digging into now, and the inconsistencies between Andre's. I've actually FOIA'd Andre Martinez's full file. The inconsistencies between the statements in Stephen's case versus the statements in his case, and a lot of people didn't know Andre Martinez was registered with 6 vehicles. One of his best buddies ran drugs with him up and back from Milwaukee, and he lived in Whitelaw.
Oh, right.
So there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been dug into, and that's one of the things we're actually working on right now.
Yeah, that's another thing that I touched on with Steve Moore in the first video or interview I did with him, which you guys can all find on my channel now. Mm-hmm. When we were talking about victimology and talking about what to be looking for and what to look at and unexplored avenues that there was cause to go down those avenues, but yet not one step was taken, and stuff like that. So if you guys want to hear me talking with Steve Moore about Adrian Prairie, who is actually Zellner's expert on investigations, we have a little chat about that in my previous video with Steve Moore. And you don't have to wait for Mammothon to see it. It's already there. So
yeah, it's really good. I was there during the live. I was just in awe by how he answered things and his answers to how you really do an investigation. And that's what you got to look at here. Victimology, I just did a podcast, and the victimology was turned around and used to do it a different way, and they never investigated her in the right spot. I mean, when your person goes missing, you go to everybody she knows. That would have included Ryan. It would have included Scott. That would have included a lot of her friends, the guy she was sleeping with, his wife. I mean, all them people would have been looked into probably by the third day that, they found whatever they found,
I was looking at the paperwork today for when they made their gentleman's agreement about the Denny suspects. And I'm scrolling down, just looking at it, going through some of the messages back and forth. First person that pops up, Andre Martinez. You can't use him. You can't use these people. And it's like, how can a government give somebody a fair trial and tell them, okay, you have to choose which one of these you want to use to try to save your life. You either have to go over here and try to say that it could have been somebody else, or you have to try to say that the cops did it. You can't use everything in your power to clear your name. That's ridiculous.
And why is that? I mean, what was their... What?
I said it's called Denny.
Yeah, well, I don't understand. That's
why Stephen couldn't point to Andres Martinez, even though he was suspiciously around. He has a penchant for trying to kill a woman with an axe. But he can't point at them because Denny has such strict requirements, and I think, honestly, Judge Willis in this case made them even stricter than I think they normally are, where he was requiring just the defense had to prove all 3 prongs. When clearly the prosecution wasn't even having to prove motive.
Well, yeah, what is motive? What is Stephen's motive?
I think Denny.
Stephen had motive.
And Stephen's
he was in jail?
Perverted, in my opinion.
Yeah. According to Brendan, Steve's motive was the fact that he wanted to go back into jail. Oh, and that's why they did it.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
Brendan wanted to go back to school.
He's been putting up a bit of a fight since, but Seriously, he wanted to go back to prison. That's
Hey,
he
what a
liked
way
being
to throw
confined.
them off the track by
Yeah.
filing a $36 million lawsuit. That's a great way to throw them off the track that you didn't want to.
Yeah, but I mean, getting back to all these other suspects. The problem is, of course, that there's only leads that lead towards there, but they never went down those paths, did they? They, why would you? If you're trying to frame Stephen Avery, you don't want a load of stuff pointing in other directions, do you?
No, what they did was if somebody was a suspect, say like Martinez, of course, Skralinski and Baldwin interview him the first time and we don't get to see that. So then Wiegert and Fackbender go up to Green Bay and interview him. And he's already lied once by saying, I've only been on the property twice. And then when he meets with Wiegert and Fackbender, he's saying, oh yeah, I was there all the time. So just because he says here that he wasn't there on the 31st, you're going to believe him after he's already lied to you?
And the reason why nothing goes together, even if they were the person, you can't put something a dot to a dot because there was no investigation in the beginning. If there was, Oh,
if you were a suspect, the only time they really wanted to talk to you is if you were going to point the finger at somebody else, mainly Stephen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't put it together. I mean, there's been so many wonderful people that have dug into so much and found so much that if they can't make the connection to the connection, they still don't know. It's because of the investigation never being done properly, in my eyes. That's what I believe.
Travis there.
Totally agree with you.
Travis mentions which gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, really.
I remember.
I'm still waiting to find out which one was a gentleman.
Well, yeah, the one we hear about in Making a Murder, of course, is was it the May 13th?
Intimate sample?
The May 13th interview, that was supposed to be one that they weren't supposed to use, but they managed to wangle their way around that. And basically, Ron Strand, you as you were saying to me earlier, how the hell is it that you get all these contradictory so-called confessions by Brendan Dassey, and they can just cherry pick. They can literally just cherry pick the bits that they want,
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
You've got 3-1 that you've got one confession, then you get one on 315. So you use one version in Stephen's case and convict him on that version. You turn around and use the other version in Brendan's case and convict him. And then in his appeal case, you combine the two.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's almost like double jeopardy,
Well, it's like they've convicted two people of killing Teresa
with two different stories.
Only one killer.
Yeah, but normally you would try those cases together because they're both defendants in the same case, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were I said.
They didn't want to do that. I mean, We hear about the fact that Dean and Jerry never got experts in. Well, one expert they did get lined up was Larry White. Now, I've never heard of Larry White before or since, but obviously he's big in Making a Murder because he's the guy that is analysing that interview, isn't he? With Brendan.
Right.
Well, I believe Andrews had contact with Larry, trying to persuade him to come and talk to us, but
I'm sure Travis has explained this before. Is this him doing it right here? There was an order pre-trial. Defense can't bring up third-party suspect. Oh, he's talking.
Except Brendan.
Okay, no, he's talking about something else. It was in Brendan's lawyer's interest to get him separated away from Stephen so that they weren't tried together, and that's how that happened. Now, obviously it would have been interesting to all of us to see them tried together, so there wasn't two different, narratives.
Right.
How it was done. And that's 2020 being hindsight. That's absolutely true. It would have been interesting to see that, but they didn't all know that at the time exactly how that was all going to go.
Yeah.
But they just wanted to protect Brendan's interest, and that's what they were doing. They felt they were doing that.
Yeah.
And
but in the long run, it screwed him.
Yes.
Well,
anyway.
poor Kenny had to go out there and make that press conference with Brendan, so he had to use the first confession in Brendan's case because he already told everybody the whole story.
Right.
True.
Right.
And they did,
press conference was very unethical. So.
Right. As much as, I mean, we think Keystone Cops and all this other stuff, and true enough, it really is. But if you think about it in the long run, for the appeals things that they are going through now, they were smart the way they convicted them, because they were smart enough to know that it was going to be hell to get them out, because they're two different things. Brendan can't go with no evidence, and Stephen can't go by, a false confession. Neither one of them can support each other in the end. You know what I mean? And that's what I think they really wanted to happen.
But that's why this country needs reforms on laws like that. You should not be able to convict one person in a crime with one scenario and one with another. That should be, I mean, that's basically the prosecution saying, we actually don't know what the hell happened, but we're just going to throw them both in jail.
Well, you think that Kratz himself saying there's one killer and one person responsible only, that would have been good enough for Brendan.
Well, I want to know why they couldn't, in Brendan's case, turn around and say, wait a minute, do you, and present it to the court. In this previous case with Stephen Avery, this is what they put in front of him.
Well, they dropped the mutilation and rape on Stephen, so he got it for murder. And then Brendan got mutilation and rape and, and helping or whatever or something.
Right, but why couldn't they present because the prosecution is the one who did it. Why couldn't they present to the jury that was sitting in Brendan's case the scenario that they used to convict Stephen? I want to know that.
Well, because
Travis,
Brendan said it differently.
I want to know.
I was going to ask this question. To my knowledge, no judge has actually looked at both cases. No judge yet has had both cases in front of them in order to make an opinion on that. And
they don't connect them.
No. They at the moment there hasn't been that connect between the two cases. They haven't merged at any point yet. So therefore, you need a judge to actually say, well, that's wrong. You as you quite rightly say, you cannot have one person killed in two different places, in two different scenarios.
No.
But until that comes before the judge that says that's not going to abide, unfortunately, what 13 years later.
Well, and the thing of it is they see these cases as a case number, and they don't know like we do. They don't see it like we do. It's just a docket number. They're looking for the facts. And as much as people say, Travis, we don't want to hear it, you know what? You got to hear it the way they see it. Travis, or you're not going to get it.
Travis wants me to repeat what I just asked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Travis, my question is, why, when they convicted Stephen using one scenario and they got their guilty verdict on that scenario, why couldn't the defense bring into the open air in front of this jury that the prosecution used a whole different version to convict Stephen for the same crime? I just want to know that. Why, if they did it one way, could the jury not know, hey, this prosecution just used a whole different scenario in Stephen's case? That's
excellent question.
Yeah. Two separate cases, two separate trials, and two separate ways to get out.
Then there must have been two separate Teresas.
And one killers.
And one killer. That right there, that's the one part that bothers me the most. He says there's only one killer here. Well, you're contradicting yourself. And if they could have put the two together, if a judge in courtrooms would see what we do, but I can't wait for KZ to get in there. I want to know what you guys think about. I know that we're in a pandemic, and I know that the state is getting more time. But do you think that they're going to push through with it? And when we get a chance here, because lots been going on in that AG's office.
I'm reading Travis's thing.
Travis is beginning to answer right now. So yeah, it is getting.
He said it's not going to be something I like.
Quite funny, because that's him saying you guys aren't going to like this.
Everybody every time I ask Travis something, he tells me the same thing. I'm not going to like it. And
I don't not like it. I like hearing the facts about the way the courts look at it, and he's the only one that can tell us that.
yeah, well, Travis, just once, put a spin on it so I might, be able to swallow it.
Make her dig.
The other interesting thing, of course, is that Stephen Avery was found not guilty of mutilating the corpse.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
The only one that was found guilty of mutilating the corpse was Brendan.
Brendan. Yeah.
And rape.
And rape.
Yeah.
And that is something that just drove me crazy. The only way they even brought that in is because Brendan said so. But there's absolutely no physical proof of that whatsoever. But they continually said it in both trials, So
I mean, it's so bizarre. Brendan even says that he didn't want to rape Teresa because he was too young to be a father.
Yeah. I mean, thinking in completely the wrong terms for rape.
Yeah.
Totally applying his boyish understandings of sex and relationships with girls to a rape situation. I mean, it's so obvious. It's just,
And everybody says he wanted to go back to school. He had a date. So, I mean, I heard that because I have a date. I told my girlfriend I'd be there about whatever it was, quarter to 2 or something. I was like, everybody says he wanted to go back to school. No, he wanted to go to school to get his girlfriend. He finally had a girlfriend,
Yeah,
they take it from him.
Yeah, he was going to be walking a girl home,
Yeah, I mean, how nice.
Yeah, but the other big issue is the fact that you've got apparently they took a break from all this torturing and raping, for 15 minutes to have a cool drink and think about it, and what they were going to do with Teresa. So they go back and do some more, but apparently they'd already decided what they were going to do. They were going to kill her. They hadn't quite decided how they were going to kill her, but they'd already decided they're going to kill her. So I mean, Brendan doesn't need to worry about being a father. I mean, it's not like it was almost as if Brendan was so naive he thought that blokes got pregnant.
Yeah.
It was that kind of naivety.
Well, the thing
go
that
through this timeline.
Okay, I told Paul this yesterday. I pulled out the 3-1 affidavit where Fackbender is going over Brendan's testimony. He goes through and he lists all this stuff, and he's kind of stupid because at the very end, and this is the sworn affidavit by Thomas Fackbender, it states that Brendan says he was there, and when Jody called, all of this happened, the 2 calls, while he was there, and Teresa was still alive, and she was still shackled to the bed. So that means, which we all know, Brendan was home by 9 o'clock. They say 10. We'll give him that time. Jody's phone call ends about 15 to 20 after 9. That gives them less than 45 minutes to carry the body out to the garage, to cut her throat, stab her in the stomach, cut her hair off, shoot her 10 times, then pick her up, put her in the vehicle, drive her to the pond, come back, take her back out of the vehicle, put her on the creeper, wheel it over to the fire, throw it on the fire, and which is miraculously burning already on its own, then going and getting the cabinet, the seat, and the tires with the golf cart, bring those back, clean up the garage. Oh, I forgot. Stephen had to walk into the house to get the gun and come back out to shoot her and clean it up, and Brendan's home by 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Physically impossible, but yet he swears to this and gets a search warrant off of it.
Well, just one other fact. According to Brendan, it was Steve that carried Teresa out by herself.
On that little dolly, huh?
Well, no, out of the trailer. He carries out. Yeah. You've got this woman who's presumably kicking and thrashing out to save her life.
And we never hear her on the phone call when Jody's on with her either time, but yet you can hear her screaming outside. And she's not gagged.
It's nonsense.
Barb's place was too close. There would have been screaming going on. One of them boys would have heard that stuff,
I know
didn't
how big
happen.
I know how big my mouth is. I can talk loud enough for people to hear me outside.
Me too. It didn't happen.
Winston, I can hear you from 6,000 miles away, so you do pretty well. Jerome's even further.
Yeah, yeah.
The magic of support.
I'm telling you, what's a girl got to do?
That's right.
And that stuff is, and why you don't jump on that in a court of law and pull that affidavit out and present it to the judge and the jury. This is physically impossible for it to have ever happened.
Yeah.
I don't care if there were 6 people there.
It's not enough time.
No.
Not enough time. And oh, wait a minute. And they cleaned everything up before the police got there 2 days later. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask a question here, because it's something that Travis put up about a good trial lawyer will figure out how to get evidence in under a different theory, like Butin and Strand did with Denny, like evidence, and that is, you know, dare I say it, are we dealing with these lawyers from I believe Strand and Butin are in Madison, where basically the Schimmel wars and where that's like the capital, if you like, of Wisconsin. That's where all these smart lawyers are. Could it almost be as if their subtleties were not really understood by people in basically in the county of Manitowoc? That they just don't get that kind of subtlety that Travis is on about. That a good trial lawyer will try to figure out under this different theory. By trying to suggest things. I think personally, I think that's what Dean and Jerry were doing. They were suggesting all along for people to go away and think about what it was they were suggesting. But maybe they just didn't get it. Because they don't want to get it. They don't want to get it, do they?
Hey, Paul, since you're the one that gets all of these great responses from like Herman and everything, I want to grab that. I want to grab that search warrant that was signed based on that affidavit, and I'd like you to call that judge and ask him if they actually read it. I want to know, and I want them to explain it to you how they did all that stuff in less than 45 minutes.
Yeah. The thing is, I think Judge Patrick Willis is now retired. I believe Judge Fox might still be on the go, because as far as I know, he swore everybody into the sheriff's department at the last sort of signing in ceremony, which I believe would have been.
He teaches and stuff. I think we looked him up.
Well, I think it was 2015, 2016. So he might be around for sort of future use. I think what we've got to bear in mind with the judges there is that they are elected, aren't they? They are up for election every 4 years. They're up for election. Oh, cheers, Jerome. I would love a Belgian lager, but. I'll stick with mine. Yeah,
even during the pandemic, they had to vote.
They have to vote. So Willis was I going to go with the idea that I will give the prosecution as much leeway as I can, and I think he did. I think he gave them a lot of leeway. I think when it came to one or two minor details, he gave Dean and Jerry, but I mean, things like the most crucial things. Deborah Kakach, not given testimony. The phone calls. Who accessed her voicemails? As you say, that all the Denny stuff. The testimony of Bobby Dassey. Saying that there was this joke about could you help me bury this body? It was it's all in good giving them little battles to win, but the war in the war he always leaned in favor of the state.
And
Yeah.
and we all know whenever there is something that is presented, like Mark Wiegert's little dig, he had when he asked him about was there any DNA of Brendan's, and he said no, but he had 5 days to clean it up. Even if yes, I did see that smile, and I wanted to rip it right out of his throat.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that out loud. I said that out loud again. Yeah. And
Keep it classy, folks.
You go, girl. Just classy. You don't cuss.
But we all know, and it's a proven fact. You can say, okay, the jury is instructed to ignore that. They're not going to ignore it, and the attorneys know they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's called unringing a bell. It's really hard to unring a bell.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
I'll tell you what. When it came to that statement by Mark Wiegert in Brendan's trial, when he said, no, basically, is it Edelstein that goes around and says, you brought all these bits of evidence into this courtroom, not one of them has any trace of Teresa Horbach on them. And that's when he says, no, they had 5 days to clear up. Do you know what? That was right at the end of the proceedings for that day. Mm-hmm. No lawyer came back and said, nope. I dispute that,
right.
I object. Whatever the American term is. In the UK, it's I object.
Yeah.
Because look, Mark Wiegert is there to give evidence, to give testimony as far as evidence, not simply to offer his opinion.
Right.
They should have been objecting with Fallon interviewing Brendan on the stand because he asked him the same question 20 times. It should have been he's badgering the witness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't understand why they don't accept him taking it back when he's on the stand and they took back what Kayla said. Or she's a kid too. He's up there telling his truth. You should have listened. The kid was up there telling it.
Well, the news and everybody just put their own spin on it that Stephen was sending word over to get everybody to
Glenn Kuczynski did that.
Yeah.
He was the one that said that there was subliminal messages and Mr. Meow Meow meowed a little too loud. Them guys are just disgusting to me, and there's absolutely no excuse. There's no reasons. There's no answers. They're just disgusting. They're not in it for justice. Nope. The fact that the prosecuting attorney, Mr. Kratz, even suggested of taking this case on is killing me, because they should have never took. Anybody that's a prosecuting attorney seeking justice would not have done anything Kratz did in any way, and he would not have taken Brendan at all.
No.
Who's got the sound effects? Let me guess.
Rudy is
He was. I'd like to purr him right back into a snowbank somewhere.
He's such a child.
That's one cat that should have been neutered. I'm just saying.
More than that. Should have said
neutered.
Shipped it to China.
What I want to know is that Travis is saying that he's having a Bowmore 18 right now, and I'm going to break into the brutal attic. Is that because the Bowmore is finished, or because of other reasons? That's what we really need to know.
Linda, I'd like to invite Travis on with us, but I'd probably end up crying or yelling at him by the end of the show.
Well, we got to make it a long stream because he gets paid by the hour and he talks like this. Very effective. He's very effective. But he's a defense lawyer who gets paid by the hour because he chooses his words wisely and slowly. And I love you, Travis. I really do. I have to. He's the first person I ever talked to in this whole thing. So I have a great deal of respect for him.
Personally, because I never get an answer that makes me happy. So I'm starting to take it personally.
No, that's just Travis putting it to you like a lawyer does.
I know.
And I appreciate that.
Me too.
Lord knows this case is full of lies, twists, turns, and blaming each other. Let's flip the script because it doesn't meet what this is ending up to be. The story's changing here. you know. So at least he gives it to us straight on.
Mhm.
And,
Hi,
and,
Fleet
Yes,
Side.
it does.
and to stay on the line, and I think Mr. Capaldi is agree with me. I have a lot of respect, like all of you, for the Hallback family, but there is a question who haunted me. Why no? There is a big red flag when Mr. Mike Hallback talk in the
About the grieving.
about the grieving process.
Yep.
Why
That's the first thing I
nobody
thought.
jump on that? They are journalists, and you are.
Well,
Your sister
I-
is just disappearing, and you are talking about a grieving process,
Yeah.
and she's just disappeared, and you don't jump on that.
Mhm.
And I think
Why?
we figured out that the
Why?
reporters weren't biased by any means. Emily Metastasis, let's just say.
Yeah,
Emily, good old Emily. None of them really looked at this with biased reporter eyes, wanting to get the truth out. They, as far as I'm concerned, put out just what the state wanted them to and made Stephen look terrible. There was public poisoning from Kratz right from the get-go. So
Because-
you can't change a lot of people's minds when you hear that. I mean, if I was a farmer and didn't, you know, this kind of thing doesn't happen and you're worried about your cows and everything else, and you really just trust your government because they've been working okay for you, and you are not in trouble and you do not need the police and you do not see the way the world really is with crime, because you're sheltered doing your own thing and running your own business and up in the crack of dawn and go to sleep at nighttime and you barely have chance, you know? So I can understand that. If I would have heard that on the news, I probably would be feeling, hey, this guy's bad news. Keep him in there. You know?
That's actually the first thing that caught my eye in Ma'am was him saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
I've never heard that before.
Grieving process. I mean, how can you be grieving when she's just been reported missing?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My biggest question in this whole case, and it's always been this: when do you stop looking for a missing girl when you find a vehicle and a key? You never should be stopped
Never.
looking for the girl. You
Never.
automatically assume she's dead. Okay, let's just quit looking for her.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I want to know about all those
Yeah,
sightings
so-
in Sheboygan. Were those people interviewed? Were they? I mean, did they go there? Do we
Not that
have?
we
We have
know
no
of.
reports.
Not that we know of. Unless they're going to write a report when they go to court this time.
There you
14
go.
years later.
Yep.
yeah, why stop the investigation? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
And why is Bobby's testimony sealed?
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of things that we're trying to FOIA and we're
there
finding
is
out
a
they're
lot of
sealed.
question. Yeah,
Andrew Martinez's interview with Skrilinski is sealed. Bobby Dassey's
Jody's
first
calls.
interview is sealed. I actually FOIA'd all of Jody's calls
And they're
from when she went in I believe June of 2005 all the way up to March. And I actually got a letter back. Now, we already know that they've given us several of her calls from jail. They
But
told
they're
me
not.
point blank, you're not getting any of the calls because she has a connection to somebody who has a case in appeals. But
Yeah.
her calls were never used in Stephen's case, nor did she testify.
Well, maybe KZ found something in them that she
Oh,
can
I'm
use.
sure. It's the if anybody knows where this call is, it's the 11-1 call, and I have heard it. Linda has heard it, where they literally are talking about Stephen has rearranged the room, and Jody is upset because Stephen would not allow her to have the room like that when they initially moved in, and now she's in jail and he's moved it. I want that call.
Man says,
but you
like,
know, in this case, but it's just my opinion, and you know, I'm not in the strange thinking theory, complot theory, or something like that. But when you see all of this thing, you understand it's more political than you think. And I'm sure that's more political than we think. Us. Maybe Zelda have more information that we have. I'm sure that she had more information than we have. But I think from the beginning, the first case, with Penny Bernstein, sorry. I think it's really, really, really political. And that's why they don't want free Stephen or Brendan and tell, okay, we are wrong on that, because if you tell you are wrong on that, it did say you are wrong of that and on that and on that and on that, and you open the box and you destroy the system, because it's really, really, really political. But it's my opinion, just my opinion. But more I go on the case, more I think it's really, really political.
I talked to Paul yesterday and told him one of my major issues is we have too many branches: the police, the sheriffs, the DA's office, DCFS. These are not governed or any set of rules as far as who they have to answer to. And because of that, it's made us as a nation their victims.
Yeah. Why the FBI is involved in the case? In the Stephen Avery case, why the FBI is involved? Is the federal, as the crime is a federal crime? I don't think so. So,
if it was a federal crime, then we should be able to get him out.
Yeah.
With the president.
Yeah, I agree.
But
if it's a federal crime, prove it.
It's not.
But
it's not a federal crime; it's a state crime.
Right. But he's asking why the FBI was involved.
Yeah.
For the EDTA.
Yeah, for the EDTA, but I don't think it's the only thing.
No, they interjected themselves.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but
I don't know. I've never read anything about it.
I may be wrong, but
nobody's wrong in this. We're all speculating.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. We all have our own ideas and speculations, and that's why grouping together like this and coming together of the minds is a good thing. You figure it out. You know, somebody might see something you were looking for, and they've known about it for a long time. You know, that's one good thing about having a great community, and we do have a great community, and we will be getting more and more in.
Yes,
and I'm glad that I'm not happy for the pandemic, but I am happy as far as we're going to have the Mammothon, and there's going to be people in that are definitely watching the show now. I know quite a few of my friends who said they'd never watch it are stuck at home now and watching it and emailing me and texting
my daughter.
me, and, you know, and so they'll be in and they'll get a chance to see all of us doing something, you know, that is related to this and teaching and showing them what we've learned. And you know, I mean, think about it when Erekose and Ripper and J-Jax and all them got in it. They were scrambling for one piece of paper to say something that new, you know, waiting for it, you know. There's
y'all ought to be grateful.
Much information now.
Y'all ought to be grateful, Linda, because you guys are the four founders of this. You know, Ripper Jack, Erekose. You guys are the original generation. Then people like me are coming now.
Yeah, me too.
People like
I'm second generation.
So then Erekose is the older than dirt one, and everybody else is.
Yeah, he's the one that invented the dinosaurs.
He's a veteran.
And like Ajax, stronger than dirt too. But anyway.
But you guys are the ones who started this, and the snowball effect it's having. I'm a relatively newbie here, and I'm learning so much because of you guys. And it's going to take some of the slack off of you guys to free you up and continue to do what you do, because we're going to learn and we're going to be able to help the new ones that are coming in.
Yeah, you always got to be ready to. People go, oh, I've heard that before. It's so repetitious. Why? Because there's people that have not heard it before. Because there are things, and I've been here for a good long while now, and I am still finding things and hearing things. You know, you don't read if I was to, when I got here, sit and read every single piece of paper and research that has ever come across in front of me, I would be doing nothing but reading, okay? And which means, in my case, I'd be sleeping, because that puts me to sleep. But you pick and choose what you want to dig into. Like me, it was the rap for a long time, and I got a good theory too. I'll tell you what, it works. Anyway, but we all pick and choose our things. Some people are into the bones, some people are into the confessions, some people are, so we all find our thing and we all jump down whatever rabbit hole we want and we ask for a handout, and that's just what we can do. Keep talking about them.
I just have to say that with all of that, the thing that, especially with the guilters, the one thing that I find is the more that we come together, I mean, it's not foul play, it's not Erekose, it's not Paul Capaldi, it's not Jerome.
Twitter, it's not
it's all of us coming together like this. The more that we band together and we support each other, the stronger we become against those guilters, because what they want to do is they just want to eat away at us individually.
Just like the cops in the family. They want to make this go away because a band of people is stronger than one.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what I would say? And I'm sure that the dude will agree with me that, 4.5 years later, we still have yet to come across any piece of evidence that proves that Steve and Brendan are guilty.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how many people come forward and look at this case, and how much evidence that Kathleen Zellner has produced. We're still here.
Yeah.
We're not going away, guilters. We're still here. You can insult us, as much as you like. And you sometimes do, the Scott Yucks of this world and the Dorian Hawkins, and the State and the Truth and all your Woody Woodpeckers. But you know what?
Yeah.
We're still here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're free, I'll be on to the next one to try to get out.
I'm
never going away.
I would challenge any of them to come onto any of our channels and do a proper discussion about why do you think Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey are guilty? And I would challenge any one of you to come on. I challenged Ken Kratz. He didn't
I'll challenge any guilter.
Want to know me. He didn't want to know me.
Yeah.
He blocked me in the end because I asked him.
Don't feel bad. I did too.
Mike Holbach.
I told you, Paul, I'd love to see you go with him.
Listen, Jerome's gonna say, Ken, you don't know me.
Ken, you don't know me. I'm sure you. But if you want to come in my channel, you are really invited to my channel to discuss why you think Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey are guilty and explain me all the reasons and all the inconsistency from the case. Please, Mr. Kratz. And I will never be a troll or rude or unrespectful or never, for sure. I promise you. And if you don't like, you can quit. And I don't diffuse, Mr. Kratz. If you want, you come on my channel. We discuss. You can talk anytime you want about the case to explain why Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey are guilty and explain everything. You are welcome when you want. When you want.
Do you know what it is, Jerome? Though, if any of the guilters had anything worthwhile saying, they would have gone to Kathleen Zellner, and Kathleen Zellner would have gone, "Oh, thank you, State and the Truth, thank you, Woody Woodpecker. I can cut my losses now. I can ditch Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. They're clearly guilty because of what you presented. Because what you're saying is a load of BS."
Caca.
Yeah. But I respect everybody. So
me too.
I've got a question. that my good pal Fleetside is here in the chat, and I have to ask this question: is Teresa Halbach still a missing person? Do we have any evidence to prove that she is no longer a missing person?
I mean, did her family declare her legally Dead.
Well, yeah. They went.
Why do they not want to give
We have a
that
death
pelvic
certificate.
bone
That's it.
to Kathleen Zellner to test?
We have a death certificate. One without the doctor's license number correctly, but we have a death certificate.
Yeah, 000. If you're speaking scientifically, I don't think the 7 loci meet the even 16 at the time they needed to then. Now it's 21. It would definitely not meet it. But the circumstances of her not being around, the circumstances of the bones matching what little bones they did have, and not including the chicken leg, and the family, and them giving it back and having that. I myself think she has passed on.
Right, okay.
I have just one question. Just.
Oh, you're allowed more than one.
Can we
That's one more
Yes,
question.
can we say today for sure Teresa Marie
No.
Albach is dead?
No, I can't, but I think she is.
There's too many open rabbit holes, and there's no concrete evidence to convince.
No.
I mean, am I one that thinks, oh, yep, absolutely, she's alive? No, I can't.
No.
And I can't absolutely say she's dead either.
The best
Yeah.
I'll say at that
Yeah.
is I am open to the possibility.
Yeah, and
But
the only reason why
that doesn't mean it's anything I think about greatly. It just means I'm open to the possibility.
I tend to think she's gone simply because I don't want to believe that they would do something to this level, even the family. I mean, to that level, you're talking way beyond even what we're looking at now then. And to me, it's not that it's not plausible, because it is. It could happen. I mean, we see movies about it all the time.
Okay.
But for my mind,
we say
They're looking. The Abrys were considered outcasts. They were looking out for their own.
in Belgium we say a thing, but I will try to translate in English because we say when you are looking for the improbable or for the impossible, think impossible. Think improbable.
Yeah.
Impossible. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why we mean. That's why. So I agree with you.
In other words, just keep a really open mind about this. My mind is really open about this.
Yeah, me
the
too.
problem for me is that when Mike Holback, it's not just when he says the grieving process, it's when he says it could last days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, days.
That was for me a huge giveaway.
Yeah.
If he knew that Teresa was dead, fine. If that was it, then the grieving process is going to take a long time to get over. But to say that it could last days?
Well, even
I agree.
Even the mom, when Ken Kratz says, "Here's Karen Halbach's daughter in that box," how, as a parent or a sister, can you just sit there in the trial and not have a tear, nothing come down? I am sorry, you might be taught and acted and whatever to not do that, but nature is going to make you, I mean, unless you just don't have that maternal feeling, I don't know. I mean, my dog died 7 years ago, and I'll cry about it, okay? And I mean, you're not talking about my daughter.
I have cried on Making a Murder.
Yeah. Oh, I have too.
I have cried, me.
Yeah.
A gorilla like me. Yeah.
Me too. All the time. Every time I look at Brendan. Every time I look at Brendan.
If y'all have,
every time I like the
if y'all
Making a Murder, I cry.
And what about Mike Halbach saying, well, there's been nothing nefarious in the RAV that by her getting her card that says that there's anything wrong with her, so we still have hope. And then days later he's saying, well, we got to grieve. A day later he's saying we got to grieve for a week or so. I mean,
and it's
oh my gosh.
like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, don't do that.
If any of you haven't gone on to George Ripper's blog, and that's another reason why I can't say that she's actually gone. There's a really good thing brought up in there about, and I talked to Paul about it yesterday.
Say who you think it is.
Peterson, okay, Captain Crunch.
Sorry.
Peterson was out of town in the state of Washington the week that Teresa disappeared. And in Zipper's blog, it mentions an island that you have to literally, in Washington, you have to go over the border, which makes it Canada, and then you have to go over to another border to get to this island. And it's a nesting place, or because it's so secure with all these border patrols, that's where they put a lot of witness relocation people. Peterson's there. What was he doing in that area?
Yeah.
The week she disappeared.
Yeah.
Just too many unanswered questions.
When you heard this story about Wisconsin before making a murderer, I was not aware about a story in Wisconsin. But when you heard story about strange thing in Wisconsin, you heard some really, really, really strange thing. And see, the Carmen Boutwell death.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strange. For me, it's really strange because you can die from an overdose of methadone. You can die. Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And she died from that. And she died the third. Yeah.
The third. She was found the third.
Yeah. She was found the third
and she's
by
cousin.
Yeah. And she found by Remiker, I think.
No, not cousin.
Wasn't she
not related? Not related. Let's be factual.
Really? Okay.
They're not related.
I thought they were cousins.
I want to be factual, not related. Okay. It's just a simple coincidental, but I understand why
you
want
Linda.
to put that there.
Thank you for clarifying that, Linda.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
But I think the guy who, the policeman who found her was Remiker.
I don't remember who was the first on the scene.
I don't either.
But I think it's Remiker, and again we have the same crew, and we have the same guy, and we have the same and Bushman. Yeah, Bushman.
It is their territory. We are talking about a town, and they are sheriffs, so they're going to be involved.
Yeah,
you just have to. You can't. It's not like you get to pick and choose what sheriffs come in from which way. Madison, come on in here and take this.
Bushman was retired.
You have to take your local. You'll have to take your local police, and some are just more available than others.
But Bushman was retired.
Some of them.
He was retired.
And he was retired.
I'm just saying, you got to look at that. That's what they're saying. The expertise is needed, and I think it's a bunch of crap too. But I do understand it's a small town, and they are going to be on calls all around that area. If Carmen Botwell would have came from a different county, and then came over to this county and stuff like that, maybe I would think kind of strange. But I don't think it's strange that the same officers are working with in the same district. I
can tell you, looking at the sheriffs, all the stuff in case, so all the reports by all of the detectives and everything, versus reading a report in Martinez's case that's actually done by a city police department. They are miles above the sheriff's department in their documentation. It wasn't just Tom and Mark go over and they're going to interview this person, and Tom's going to be the only one to write a report. No, they're all writing reports, and they are detailed, and they are like miles above what the sheriff's department is.
I don't know why Fleetside says he can't write it up as coincidental. There are things in life that are coincidental. I don't personally see, since it's been, to me, debunked. It's not family. The family got the bones. Her remains back. There's they don't want to be affiliated with this anymore. They've said they've heard this for years. It is absolutely nothing to do with the Teresa Halbach case. People still insinuate. That's fine. Everybody wants to do their thing. I have an open mind about it. But things in life are coincidental. Some things are just that way. Stars aligned. Who knows? What you want to say about it. And I understand he's a analytic person, so he doesn't cut anything off. And I get that. And I wish I
Well,
had that mind,
Well,
but I don't.
to be honest, Linda, I think what Fleetside is saying that he does not accept that is coincidence.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
The timing of
Right. I mean, I
this
understand from the way he thinks.
Yeah. It's
You know,
it's
I just don't think
too much is aligning for it to be coincidental.
Right.
You know, it's like somebody well known always says, you know, when do patterns become, sorry, when do coincidences become a pattern?
Right. I mean, I get what he's saying, and especially the way he thinks. He thinks in an analytical way. He doesn't put anything off. Everything is possible in his mind. I wish I could think like that.
And I would like to say, if you have not see already Paul and Fleetside video, they are really excellent.
Yeah.
It's another approach, but it's really, really, really excellent.
I've watched them.
Listen,
Bravo, Paul. Bravo.
No. Yeah. It was Fleetside that got in touch with me, so I take no credit whatsoever. I take no credit whatsoever for what Fleetside has done, because it's been absolutely brilliant, and I look forward to him joining me on Mammothon. As with McGill,
great idea.
They got in touch, and he's done some excellent stuff. Recently, obviously, was it just last week that we had? It was just last week, wasn't it? That
Rob
came on.
Rob Bell.
It's just really great getting. As you were saying, 4 years ago, there wasn't a lot of people out there doing this stuff. There's a lot more people, but do you know what's really, really, really pleasing for me and the dude is the fact that we wanted people to come on to videos and to talk about this. Can you remember that?
Yeah, remember that.
Can you remember wearing a kilt?
Yeah.
I try not to.
I don't need the visuals.
But dude, you
nothing to see. It's just a kilt.
You would
Nothing
do it
nefarious
again.
to see here.
I have a really good kilt. Last video. Yeah. A weird one. I have two weird one kilts.
I've got one photograph of me in a kilt. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. But I love kilts. It's really fine. It's really.
Well, it does away with the problem of needing to decide whether you need to go into the boys or the girls because you're wearing a skirt. So therefore, I find that
is so wrong on so many levels, Paul.
I found that very useful in Italy because you could just go into either league.
In Belgium it's not a problem. We have really open mind. So
I've been to Belgium a couple of times and it's absolutely.
You are all welcome.
All the Benelux countries.
Linda, if we're ever in Manitowoc when Paul is and he's wearing a kilt, don't let me go to the bathroom when he's gone.
You'll never see him in a kilt.
No, but I have seen him in Manitowoc. I'll tell you that. It was my pleasure for sure.
You have to beware the Loch Ness Monster.
Paul's a bit of a faux Scotsman.
I'll have to be packing. I'm just saying.
Oh, him and his wife do this duo singing, and it is so good. Oh my gosh, I loved that. That had to be one of my best highlights. I'm telling you.
Actually, Linda, do you know what's interesting is I've been discussing with my two youngest daughters, and the second youngest is actually prepared to come on and do a live chat with me. So I'm really looking
great.
And this will encourage the dude about making a murderer and Scottish independence.
Oh,
great!
Double for Eric.
This is what a video you're making?
No, we're quite happy to come on and chat with you.
Ooh.
Oh, you and Eunice. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, his daughter.
No, Ali, my not the youngest one, the one that pitched me into making a murderer. My second youngest, my second oldest daughter. Third oldest daughter. Sorry, I'll get it right in a minute.
You're going to get in trouble if you can't remember what she
is. I've got 5 kids, but only 2 that stayed with us for any length of time. So it's complicated, as you can imagine. It's
I have 4.
Yeah, it's.
I pray for her. Both.
Yeah, but no, Ali is the what I did was I went round today with, even though it's COVID and all that stuff, you know, going on. I thought, well, you know, look, she's. I'm going to say, what age is she now? She's 25 years old, you know, but I still wanted to give, because the pair of them, they share a house together, my two youngest daughters. So I went round with 2 Easter eggs for them. And a packet of toilet roll, because apparently it's worth more than drugs at the moment, you know.
They'll be selling it on the black market for $1,000.
Yeah, I basically bribed her into coming onto Dude's channel.
You know that Dr. Silkman has only gotten 1 4-pack of toilet paper in over a month.
Yeah.
And he's holding on to it like it's gold.
Man's life. I'm not saying please don't dig into it, and I'm not trying to shut nobody down. That was not what I was saying. I was just saying I was told differently. Okay, so I don't want anybody to think that I have a closed mind to any of this digging, because I don't. Very open.
$50.
$50. Dr. Silkman going once, going twice.
Denise Rainey actually showed me on Amazon they were selling a bottle of Lysol for $115.
Is that like hand sanitizer or something?
No, Lysol is antibacterial spray.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, Dan.
I mean, I actually managed to find like a couple of days ago. I actually cycled into town. I do that quite often now. I actually get on my push bike and cycle into town, right? Because I could do with the exercise, as you can probably tell. But anyway, so I actually went round a few shops and I said, well, we're supposed to be wearing these gloves and masks. Where the F are we supposed to get these gloves and masks from? Well, I went to one chemist and they actually had the gloves. So I've got the gloves, but I've not yet got the mask. So I want to know, dude, where do you get your masks from? I remember you wore one just before Halloween. I saw you with a mask just before Halloween. But is that going to be effective?
Yeah, that one. I forgot. Yeah, I saw you post that the other day. Now you just reminded me of that. No, the masks that I wear in my videos, that most of you would know what I'm talking about. Those that we get because we have those masks at our work just for when we go under houses.
Yeah.
So we have those. So that's why we're just repurposing them now for this.
Well, listen, I went on to Ann Summers. Yeah, good one, David Moore. I went on to Amazon and eBay, and it was like they were going to take 6 to 8 weeks before you could get the masks. So I have no idea where you're meant to get these masks from. And as far as I knew, I thought that it was the health service that was supposed to be getting these masks, because there's a shortage of them.
Yeah, there is. It's like I said, we happen to have them laying around because it was, part of
I
our.
ordered mine from Amazon.
I'm gonna order a personalized one. Like I said in my video yesterday, I'm gonna see if I can find a company that makes them where I can send in a picture and they'll put a personalized, like a patch or something or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, I've seen them.
That's what I'm looking to do.
But I
want to have it with Brendan.
Color?
No.
I figured he'd have.
No, there's a company that
Dassey.
makes them. No, there is a company on I saw in my Facebook feed. There is a company that makes them in all brand of tartan. There's a company already doing that. Wow. No, but I want to get one where I can send in the image that I use with the black and white image of Brendan Dassey, where it says "I stand with Brendan Dassey" in a circle around it. I want to see if I can get that and have that put on my mask.
You should see my debit card I got.
Oh yes, that's so cool.
It actually is. We get our own because of BB&T, and it says "Justice for Stephen and Avery and Brendan Dassey."
Yep.
And
it says "Free Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey." Yep.
Yeah, and I thought, you know what? It's the best way that if somebody's going to look, when I hand it to them, they're going to look at it and they're going to go, "What's this about?" And it's just another way for me to spread the word, one person at a time.
Sparks the conversation, right?
Sure does.
I remember being in Australia. We were at Miller's Point, The dude had spent the whole morning going around the whole of Sydney trying to find his usual. We know what that is. We know what that is.
You spent more time walking around the whole of Sydney that morning than I did, but anyway.
I goes into the first shop and got us those nice suits. Remember those nice suits with the anyway. I had my Brendan Dassey t-shirt. This was a corner shop run by people from the Asian community. The guy said to me, "Is Brendan out yet?" He knew exactly who Brendan Dassey was, and that's in the middle of Sydney. And you remember we were at the bar when we first got into the Palisade, and the people there were saying, they were talking about making a murderer. You went across and had a chat with them for a good
the workers, yeah.
It's worldwide. It's phenomenal.
Well, my girlfriend, I'm originally from Illinois, as I told Paul.
Yeah,
and I heard Ken Kratz's infamous press conference. Really didn't pay too much attention to the case then. My girlfriend still lives in Illinois, and she went to meet one of her girlfriends, and she had a free Stephen Avery shirt on. And Lori is like, "Well, what is this?" She went home, watched Ma'am, and she's like, "You have to watch this." And I got on and watched it. Now my 21-year-old daughter is watching it. If everybody just tells one person, just tell one person, because then you'll end up with more lunatics like me in this case.
We gotta spread. We gotta spread MAM faster than Corona.
There you go.
Right?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
But isn't it strange how you've got lunatics, part of this free Stephen Avery cult? We're trying to get this rapist, this murdering, this vicious person out of prison, and we come from so many different sort of countries, social backgrounds, ages, you name it. It's normally a cult would attract people of the same kind.
Right?
Yeah, but as I often say, this it is political, but yet making a murderer transcends any kind of sort of political persuasion. You've got people from every single background you could possibly think of,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Man.
Can I play a song for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good
But
music, man.
I play a song, but you sing. Okay.
Not me.
Okay. I
Okay.
think
Not
we're gonna
like
have
that.
this be like the wrap up. I think because we're at 122, so we're at almost 1.5 hours, and I do have to save some of my StreamYard hours for Mammothon at the end of the month. So.
I got plenty.
Could it be that we sing, but you can excuse the dude because his singing basically is
I will not sing.
SH1T.
What are they singing?
I'm not
sure
doing anything, even if I know it.
I'm sure you know his song.
Kumbaya.
No.
I mean, another one bites the dust.
Tell me if the song is good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Get on the train
Before it
Leaves the station, Wisconsin versus Avery, complete fabrication. Get on the train.
Go, Erekose.
None of us are murder.
Now you guys.
coming, gonna run
Down. And we all. Stephen and Brendan were blamed, but it does not take a brain surgeon to see that they were framed. Yes, we know what this was about.
The
Civil suit settlement they did not want to pay out. Oh, it's a train wreck, but it's a fun one.
The train wreck on the truth train.
And you may hear this song,
Oh,
and
maybe you don't get it. I suggest you look up TikTok. Man to walk on Reddit. There you will find trial transcripts, evidence, files, and reports, and you will begin to fathom the corruption within the courts.
Stacey's gonna hate me. I don't even know all the words.
Get down the train.
All in the station, Wisconsin versus Avery, a complete fabrication right on the train.
There you go, Eric.
I thought my camera was on.
Get down the train.
Yeah!
Mr. Seabrook copyright 2010.
Yeah, it wasn't me. You didn't see me singing that. That wasn't the person behind this picture was saying it all wrong, Stacy. It wasn't me.
Well, all I can say is we're not going to get asked to be on America's Got Talent. I'm just
right. No recording contract coming.
No.
Up.
Well.
Can I sing you a little
Some
song?
of it's not for our singing anyway.
Yeah.
Can I sing you just a little song? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Sure. Yep.
But on my style for Mr. Kurt Cobain. If you like one up. Load up a guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's over. You said you should. Hello, hello, your dirty room. Hello, hello, hello. With the light, it's the sunrise. Hurry on now. I can
entertain us, acting stupid. Here we are now.
You know what? This is just like it was last year.
You know, I sing, but if I sing with those guys, I will be so off.
Listen, he was duetting for me, Denise and Tracy last year when Tracy came up with the Mammothon idea. So this is very strange.
I sing, but if I sing with those guys, it would not be pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was great. That was great. What make of guitar is that, dude?
It's an Alvarez, this one.
All right, yes.
Alvarez.
All right, yes.
A good.
Very nice. Very
See what a
nice.
good lockdown will do to your people's brains?
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite, but it's
Beautiful.
nice.
Y'all just be prepared because
That's
next
beautiful.
month at this time we will start our nation tour coming to a city near you.
Strand and me, she's Pam of God. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You really want to laugh. She is great at Sherry Colleen and Pam of God. You would not even know that it was one strain that was acting her. Greatest parody we ever. It was fun.
It
was
fun.
so much fun.
I can't wait to do Leisenberg.
Oh.
I can't wait to see what you look like as Kratz.
Oh no, Silkman's gonna do Kratz. I'd love to hear Kenny Kratz with a Australian accent.
On my channel, I invite everybody who can prove me, Stephen Avery and Brandon Dassey, are guilty of the crime of the murderer of Teresa Elbach.
Come on, Drum. You know they don't got no proof. All they got is you were duped by a documentary. That's it.
I know.
That's all they got. Their whole bag of tricks.
Well, if they can give me proof,
I know.
I got to.
That's why I invite you. Do you have a proof? Come on. Come on.
If they can give us proof, Erekose will run through the streets of California naked.
Again.
I have a better one. If they're guilty, he will drive Captain Crunch's boat to England.
The guppy.
And I do the same.
He will steer the ship all the way from Crunch Island to the UK.
Well, actually, Linda,
if I'm going from
Linda,
the Crunch Island to the UK, that's a short trip. So,
well, Linda,
all right,
you and
there you
I
go.
will be the commentaries, and actually, we'll do it. We'll do it all over the globe. We'll have Jerome run naked through his streets, Paul run naked through his streets, and Erekose runs through, California, and we will be doing the play-by-play commentary.
I think One Strand wants to see everybody naked running through the streets. All righty.
And that's
Works for me. Works for me.
Ladies
you would have
first,
said,
ladies
is Ken
first.
Kratz guilty of being an asshole or, a bad prosecutor, and this is framed, and you would have had to do that, we'd be getting out the cameras right now, okay?
Yeah.
But
But,
after the COVID, I will make a new tattoo, and it's not a joke. It's for real. Here on my heart,
Yeah.
I can show you here.
Yeah.
I have some tattoo. I have a tattoo here. I have the Jonathan Davis tattoo here. It's a singer of Korn. And here on my heart, I will make 3 tattoo. The face of Steven, the face of Brandon, and the face of Teresa.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
That'd
After
be
the
beautiful.
COVID.
That's
After
gonna
the
be
COVID,
awesome.
I will make that. Yeah, for the guys and for Teresa.
Listen, you get better soon.
Yeah.
and sort out your wrists, okay? Because
Yeah.
we need you. We need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad
Yeah.
you're a COVID survivor. Thank you for making it.
Yeah.
We're so happy.
Well, thank you guys. This
Yes.
is really fun.
Thank you for being
Oh,
here,
yeah.
guys.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you
Nope,
for
I
the
got to say,
invite.
right.
Thank you very much for the invite.
And once you get the tattoo on is it your left breast? All the ladies are going to do the same and show us their tattoo.
I have
Here, right here.
I have several.
No, he's gonna come on. He's gonna get on
There you
live
go.
and he's gonna start singing. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Don't forget to catch us.
So
Me and-
yes, thank you
No,
everybody
this
for
one.
being here for with
That
us for this video that we were
Oh,
up to around
it's been,
70 people
mad.
for a lot of the time. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you everybody for being here in the video today.
Linda, he's not as scary as you said.
And
I never,
right,
I never
Right?
said that.
see, right, see.
I
Anyway.
never said that.
His pal is worse.
You're
than
gonna
his wife.
get me in trouble.
I'm sure Paul said all kinds of things, but anyways, that's just part of being the Mad Scotsman's friend. So, anyways, all right, folks, you know the drill. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.